Okay, we are here and we are queer. Well, I'm queer. I don't know if you're queer, or at least we're neurodivergent. Hi everyone, I am Styleboy. And can I please just say thank you so much for all the love on my previous cat's eye video, my first video back. It honestly means so much, and honestly I wasn't expecting it to be that big. I'm genuinely really proud of that video. This video, I wanted to talk about autism and friendships. That is something I view so highly, and I'm also really confused why we don't talk about it within the autism community. It's such a part of socialization, and there's so many things that I personally had to learn with it about friends and about who to trust and about how much they mean to me, because I've had amazing experiences, I've had really questionable experiences, and I've had bad experiences. Let's just sit down, we'll chat about it, and let's get into autism and friendships. Probably just as a mini disclaimer, I'm only going to be talking about it from my perspective as an autistic person myself. And of course, autism is a spectrum and we all go through different experiences. I'm all different people at the end of the day. So I can't comment on what friendship is like for everyone, but this is just my experiences personally, and hopefully if it helps you love that. I feel like with friendships, one of the hardest things honestly has been to meet friends, and especially making friendships as an adult, which is a whole nother thing. Making friends as an adult isn't just like the struggle of like neurodivergent people, it's neurotypicals. Everyone struggles with it, because I think at the end of the day, the thing that we lose on that was so easy to make friends within school is like that forced proximity, because as soon as you're an adult, you have a lot more choice. You can choose who you want to be your friends with. You don't have to necessarily stick within the small bubble that you are in. And that can be both amazing and incredibly daunting. And I was gonna say, at least for me personally, right now, I don't have a lot of friends that I was friends with in at least secondary and sixth form and stuff like that. Actually, I think I only have one friend. It is completely fine if you do have friends from school, but if you don't, let me give you some advice on where to find them, because it's so confusing. And actually, I was gonna say one of the places I ended up finding them the most was actually online. It's actually super cool that the internet exists for this reason. Yes, I've been kind of also dealing with the fact that it's been a bit overwhelming, and I'm still trying to process all the emotions and stuff like that, but for it to be in terms of friendships, I love it so much. And I think it could do so much for that, because you can actually connect with a community and you can really get to know people that you want to know, and you can form such great bonds based off similar interests, personalities, even like lived experiences, which is why like being friends with other neurodivergent people is so important, or being friends with other queer people, to me especially, is so important. And it's funny because a lot of them I've actually met from dating apps. I think I always say this in my autism and dating videos. I just end up making friends that way, and I think it's actually sometimes a little easier because you both match with each other anyway to see where the vibe goes. And if it just ends up being a friendship, that's completely great. And again, that's how I met some of my closest friends. It's kind of great because then at least you end up with a relationship that you can enjoy, so it's not like a loss, but also it's hella confusing. You're going on a dating app to make friends, because then like obviously the point of an app is to make a romantic connection, not just a friendship. So there are other apps I also actually have made a lot of friends from, and one of them is honestly Instagram. That I feel like I made actually quite a few friends from. Instagram I feel like is a really good one because it just goes straight to the point, and because you can just message instantly and there's no like, oh, we're like forced within the proximity of like, oh, we're only this. So it makes it a lot more easier, and plus it's just nice to get to know people that way, and you can get to know them because of a social media feed, not because of a dating profile. So yeah, that's why Instagram's really cool. But also, if anyone's queer, there's another app called Collective, which is amazing because you can make not just romantic connections, but friendships, or just even see how it goes. Again, that's how I met my friend Phil. And again, I just simply adore them. And also, I made friends who from around the world. And that's one of my pros. I love making friends from around the world. It's great. And if you end up traveling to those countries, which I did, that's how I made friends with my friend Jacoby. But if you don't want to go online, because again, sometimes it's the internet, so cool, I feel like other places to do would honestly be like classes or events and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure if you went to, like, I'm thinking like Swift together. I'm Swiftie. So stuff like that, I can so picture making such good friendships out of that. Or even like, cause there's like so many tastes with classes or things like a dance class. I actually would love to do that. And that's actually on my bucket list goals, because doing events like that, I feel like, especially if you go solo and you talk to other people, you really can connect with them. And I feel like you already have that base interest. So it makes it a lot more better. Yeah, you don't have to go to those classes to be best friends. Yeah, of course, you don't even have to go to those classes to make friends. But if you are looking for that, it does save time and energy because you're already going in with a similar interest, you know? And to tell you what's a really good way, friends of friends. That's literally how I've made so many of my friends, because I've met another friend and I'm like, oh my god, I really enjoy your energy. Let's hang out one-on-one and stuff like that. Friend to it's a friend to none. I know that honestly, meeting people in person is petrifying. God, I know that. I know I am more of an extrovert, I'm not gonna deny it, but even then I find it so intimidating to talk to people up front. I think I do just find it quite intimidating because I'm autistic. There's so many social rules, and to make that first move can be the most scariest thing because you just don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know what they're gonna say. It's petrifying, honestly. And sometimes even starting the conversation, I don't know how to do that. And I think that's what I find sometimes can be really intimidating with going in person to do stuff, which is why I think online can be a bit easier, because the thing is, what I end up doing is the best way to start complimenting someone. Being like, oh my god, I love your feed, or I love this, or I love what you did with that, please tell me more about it. I think you can do that with in person, which is why I think stuff like Swiftie events, I'm saying Swiftie just because it's the first name, but like events where it's based off an interest such as music or art, or even a class being like, can you help me teach this? Can you guide me through that? I think when you have that mutual interest, it brings down the barrier of like, fuck, what the fuck am I going to talk to you about? And it brings up the thing of, oh, I know what to say to you, or I have ideas of what to say. That mutual interest can make life a lot easier. That's also why I was like, it's the scariest to make the first move. Believe me, I know. And sometimes I have to remind myself this, especially because recently I've been doing loads of like work events, and I'm having to be the social one, and I'm having to be the one to kind of bring myself outside my comfort zone and be like, oh my god, hi, how are you? Are you enjoying this? It can be really intimidating. Oh my god. And it can be quite emotionally draining at moments, but I think when you talk to the right people, it can be quite liberating, and I find it very much, it fills my cup up. So I think when you're starting to go around into introducing yourself to people, if you're doing it online, I think I said this earlier, it's just to give a compliment. You can just start talking and getting to know each other that way. And believe me, a lot of my friends appreciate that I started the first effort. I'm always down to be the person with the first effort, 100%. And if you're doing it in person, if it's a friend of a friend, it makes it easier, because you're like, oh my god, hi, how are you? How do you know this person? Da, 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 da. But if you're going into an event completely blind or completely not knowing anyone, which, can I please just say, go you for that, because it's the most intimidating thing, but it's amazing that you've done this. I think going in with a mutual interest is perfect. So I definitely think I might do a couple of these. One of my goals is to do a pole dancing class, and I think I might actually do it for my birthday. I would love to do a tufting class because I need to update the decor in my room, and I feel like a cute little like tuft rug for like the entranceway would be cool. I honestly would just love to get to know people, and I think especially when you're in like such big cities like London, it can be both a lot easier and a lot more intimidating. It's about making sure that you feel comfortable enough to say it, because also another thing I would definitely say before you're introducing yourself to friends is just like, make sure you're comfortable in that environment before you even begin. That's why sometimes like I'll go earlier, sometimes I'll take a step back and I'll process what's happening for like 30 minutes or an hour before I jump in and start talking to people. Because sometimes it's the initial task of, oh my god, there's so many people here, oh my god, I don't know who to talk to, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I know that feeling. It is incredibly intense. So getting yourself comfortable in that environment and taking that moment back can really, really help. It helps just adjust to the social scenario. It also helps adjust to the sensory environment, because sometimes it can be really loud, loads of different noises all together. It can be quite hot depending on the environment. It just feels very different. So adjusting yourself to the environment does help a lot. And I think a really good sign to do the first person to talk to is someone who is alone, because you're both kind of in the same boat. Yeah, they might approach you, which is amazing, and if they do that, snaps. But if you want to approach them and they seem alone, that's a good idea to do so, because it makes it a lot more easier. Or even just like if it's a pair and you want to talk to them, I end up sometimes just talking about like the environment, like, oh my god, it's so pretty, That was at the event that I recently worked at, or one of them, where we literally were like arrived on the same pools, and I was like, oh my god, this view. That was a really good way. I ended up talking to influencers via that. I think that would be my tips within introducing yourself. Another tip which I have is just feel comfortable as much as you can. I know it's new people and I know it's very intimidating. Believe me, I do. Like, it is so intimidating and it's so overwhelming, and you feel like you have to almost like impress them, or maybe that's just me. It feels like you have to be like, oh my god, I have to show them every single aspect. I have to show that I'm emotionally vulnerable and I can talk about my feelings, but also I'm super fun. Look guys, I'm fun, I'm this, I'm that. I also show that I'm passionate about something. It's like, I get it. It is so intimidating to even begin a friendship. The best thing you can simply do, and I know it's so annoying to hear this advice, but true words have never been said, is just be yourself and to take things into a pace that you feel comfortable at. Again, I know it's easier said than done, and I know it's corny as heck, but corn is corn for a reason. Talk about things you're extremely passionate about. Get into your specialized interests. Maybe for me, my specialized interests are a lot to do with pop culture, so I'm able to talk about that. And again, which is why I'm suggesting like going to environments, stuff like that. And also for a lot of the time that I connect with people based off that, which is music. Majority, if not all my friends now, we all talk about music because we have such similar tastes, which is so refreshing to when I was younger and I didn't have that, or we really didn't have a loads in common. Now, you do not have to be friends with people who have everything in common with you. It wouldn't be strange, but it would just be like, okay, so there's no variation. And I would suggest with your friends to have variation, to talk to people who are different to you and who might show you different things, because they are the ones that's going to open up your mind and your horizons and allow you to explore different things, but do it in a way that you feel very comfortable with. For example, my friend Joe and B actually, and Meg, Joe, B and Meg, they were the first 3 friends that actually ever took me to my official first night out, Swiftogeddon. And I am so forever grateful, because now it's made me enjoy club nights, and so many good club nights. Like, for example, I went to a Beyonce club night and that was like the best night ever. It was the same energy as Swiftogeddon. It was not packed or crowded or very big, it's actually quite a small one, but it was just a room filled with Beyonce fans and we were just jamming out, and it was like the best experience. Those nights are the best nights because it's just ones where you don't even have to try. Like, you don't have to do a lot of things, you can just be free. Believe me, you will also get round to the memories with your friends where you are getting really deep and personal and intimate, and you're talking about everything that you want to about your feelings, and you will have times where you're just being silly and you're being goofy and you're just making core memories in that way. You will get round to them. Do not feel pressured to do either or. You don't have to be the class clown, and you do not have to be the emotional vulnerable one every single time. It's just okay. I've actually really struggled with that also, being like, is this friend superficial? Are we just on a very superficial level? And it's like, no, you're not. Just because you haven't spoken about this time, like your deepest, darkest feelings and stuff like that, that doesn't mean you're a very superficial friend. If you even have that kind of friendship, because I know there's so many different levels of friendships, where like the ones you see at parties and the ones you can tell your deepest, darkest secrets with. And that's also confusing. And I think that one, I'm still trying to figure out myself. I think with that one, it's just honestly like the vibe, and like the best way to take it is like, if you try to go into a different category, how do they feel? How do you react? How do they go? Do you feel comfortable to do that? Because also another thing that's really important with friendship is if you both mutually, or especially if you feel like you feel comfortable to do that, to be there with them, to feel close, and you feel like you can be your ultimate self, do not mistrust your gut also. Like, if you feel like something's off, trust that instinct and talk to them about it. I'm pretty sure it'll be solved within like 5 seconds, but that's something I'm really struggling with. That's really struggled with a lot of my friendships actually, is talking to them about certain things. Like if they've upset me or if they've hurt me. Because when I have, especially during secondary school, it was very much these like unfair argument where like I speak my feelings and the other person would like kind of throw daggers at me and be like, it's almost your fault for bringing it up. How fucking could you? And that's really difficult to go through. It really is. But when I tell you as an adult, I've had like conversations with my friends like, hey, I didn't like this, that you did that. And the other way around, we're like, hey, I don't think you should do that either. And it's been fine. We got a, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. or I didn't realize. And it's very mutual and it's very respectful. And we both end up just being closer as friends because you can have honest conversations like that. It is so important to have those conversations because you don't want to hold a grudge. You don't want it to build up into this explosive thing. And it is so good that you do that. And it's so good that you also have friends that you feel comfortable doing that with. I think that's also something that I feel like so many people don't really talk about. And I think especially being autistic, if you feel comfortable to talk about stuff like that with. I know that it is also the most intimidating thing to talk to your friend when they've upset you. I know that experience very well because it's scary, and at least for me, I'm like, oh my god, if I say this, they're gonna hate me, they're not gonna like me anymore, they're gonna do so much stuff. And maybe because of my own past experience with that, but it's like realizing it's like that's not the case. A good friend will listen to you and respect you, and a bad friend will not and will get defensive and will do everything in their power to ignore you. A good friend will also support your interests even if it differs from theirs. Bad friend will not. I think this is something that I really had to learn recently, and it really sucks because I'm going through the aftermath of the feelings of a friendship breakup, and it hurts. It is emotionally taxing, and I think we're gonna get onto friendship breakups because they are not easy, my friend. They're not easy because you don't expect them to end, and when they do, it's very heartbreaking because to me, a friendship breakup and a relationship breakup are kind of like mutually at the same level. You have to process your feelings. You have to almost like digest that it's the end of this relationship. It's almost like you have to grieve it, which I feel like normally people don't really say with a friendship breakup because it's supposed to be like, yeah, it's over, okay, we're done. And it's like, no, because oftentimes with friendship breakups, you go through and you share your entire heart and your soul because you trust them and you care about them. And to so many people, but especially maybe a lot of the ones I've had, like you think of them as like your second family, your chosen family. And for it to end, it is just so emotionally taxing. It just makes me really sad to think about because it's just like, it hurts. It hurts because you then start to think about the way that you view them and the way that they've treated you and the way that they do everything. It's just, it sucks. It sucks, it's heavy, it's sad, and it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sad about this. No one expects that friendship breakup to happen. No one expects this to go through because you're losing someone that you thought was so close, and it is so emotionally taxing. So I think being that this year was the year of fucking breakups, bitch, Jesus. My tip with this, despite me going through it also, is just let yourself feel it. It's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be quick and easy, but let yourself feel it. Let yourself go through the feelings. Let yourself emotionally feel every single emotion. It's okay. Do things with the friends you care about and talk about it. I've been having this a lot recently, and it's made me really solidify my true friends and who I truly care about. And it makes me feel so supported that I can talk to them about this, but it also makes me feel supported that I can talk to them about the things that I like. I can be my true self with them. I don't have to limit what I talk about because I know they don't like it, or if they make like a joke about what I do. That's unfair, and it's also very childlike. Come on. I'm guessing like a lot of you are adults watching this, and the majority of comments I get are adults, but if you're in high school, like I know it's really difficult, but you will find people. Just because you've lost this friend, that doesn't mean that you're going to lose every single friend and they're not gonna care about you. Them leaving your life is a reflection on them and not a reflection on you, unless it's your fault, but that's a whole other thing. For me, at least in this scenario, that's what I'm saying. And I know friendship breakups happen in so many different ways, and it's your decision what you want to do with that, whether you still want to be friends after, like you guys have space or not. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know why I'm finding this so hard to talk about. Oh my god, it's feeling a bit heavy. I think it's still affecting me. I'm not gonna deny it. I feel like I'm still processing all the feelings, and I'm just feeling really confused with it. Maybe this will be another video, because I have actually like a list of videos that I'd love to redo, and maybe this will be one that maybe in a couple of years I will go back to. And I think that's what the magic of YouTube in general, that I can go back and refilm videos when I'm in a better headspace or whatever. But I think it's incredibly important. I wanted to talk about this. I think with friendships, the most things I can give you as advice is make sure your friendships respect you. Make sure your friendships respect your interests, respect your hobbies, love you for who you are. Don't just love you when you're happy, and don't just love you when you're down. Love you at both states. Love you for entirely who you are. You feel comfortable enough to talk about tougher conversations with. They're not easy, but it's better to talk about these conversations with. And it's important to do so. It's important to have conversations where you talk about what you think about different things and how you both can improve. You both should develop as friends and not just stay in one lane. You shouldn't feel like you have to be constantly on with your friends, and your friendship shouldn't drain you or exhaust you. You should feel like you can be yourself with your friends, no matter what state. I just hope that you find them. You will be able to find them. Honestly, when I was in school, I actually felt very alone. And especially when I went into sixth form and then my foundation year, I felt very, very alone. I can say now that I am so grateful for every single one of my friends. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned from my previous friend, and I'm grateful for the friends I have currently now. I love them so much, and they're so important to me because they have made me feel seen. They have made me feel validated. They remind me stuff that sometimes I get lost in the world with, and I truly do care about them, and I know they care about me. I feel less alone in this world. And that's really important with friendships. I know that means for a lot of people like making neurodivergent friends, and please do, because it is so cool when you have a neurodivergent friend like my friend Nathan. Having Nathan in my life just makes it so much more easier sometimes, because you feel like you don't even have to try as much. You can feel like you're like, relax and easy, but also like you can learn so much. I feel like that's the magic of friendships. You can learn so many things from each other and be comfortable with each other and just love each other. And even if a friendship ends, because people come in and come out of your life all the time, and that's completely normal. Some friendship breakups don't have to be this big traumatic thing. Sometimes it's just distancing apart. And yeah, it's sad, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it is what it is. I think the most important thing is be grateful for what they've shown you. Be grateful for what they've taught you when they do leave. But remember, you have people who are with you now. And those people love and care about you so much, and they will always be there for you. I think I'm gonna end this video here. I feel like I just wanted a little hug from my weighted blanket for a bit. Oh, because now it's a very emotional video for me somehow. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you stick around and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Love you guys, and I shall see you guys soon. Adios. Bye.